Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage of notorious B.O.B. And today we're going to be doing an install of a center stand made by T-Rex Racing on a Honda CTX700 2014. So again, here's the bike. We're going to be installing this center stand. Obviously I'm mounted sitting straight up right now, so that's why the kickstand's not down. But first question you might ask is, why would you actually install a center stand? And the reality is it's not something you really need, but it makes chain maintenance a whole lot easier. And then if you're ever in situations where you want to just sort of store your bike in an upright position, it avoids carrying around one of these bad boys. So when I ordered this part from T-Rex Racing, this is what it came with. It came with the center stand here. It came with the stopping bracket, which is nice because some of the other models or aftermarket parts don't come with this. You have to create one. So it comes with a bracket that's got a stopper to prevent it from coming up into the chain. Comes with just a basic bolt, a couple of inserts, and then the spring. The spring is likely going to be the toughest part of the install. It shouldn't really take that long to do as far as install, but the spring may take some working out. So we'll see what happens. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to remove this panel right here, this piece of plastic, to allow us to gain access to it, just so you can see exactly a better, cleaner shot of the install. So we're just going to quickly remove these hex bolts here. There's one. Here's two. And off it goes. So as you can see now, underneath or behind that plastic, it's pretty simple. So if I would put the kickstand down, now you can see where this is going to mount. So this position right here, this is where the bolt will come through. This pre-drilled threaded hole is where the stop bracket is going to get mounted to. And then if you can see on the other side there, it's the same exact thing. We don't need that top hole, but this one is where the bolt is going to come through. So this is where it's going to mount. And we'll get started here. I'll get my parts ready to go, and my wrenches are set, and we'll get going. Okay, so we're back, and I just wanted to show you a couple things here. So as you can see, this is the bracket that holds the stopper here to make sure that these things don't hit each other. And it's really, you couldn't make it any easier. This just simply fits right, it hugs around this piece of the frame, and then this bolt just screws right in. It's already pre-threaded, and that's it. There's only one way it can fit, and then that's the stopper. So now, as you can see, we've put the center stand, we've placed it in here. I've already threaded the bolt on the back end because that was a little bit more difficult, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But here you can see how it aligns with the hole in the bottom of the frame. And it just simply lines up. And what you do is, very easily, let me see if I can do this for you. You take this sort of bushing, it's like it's not threaded, but this piece just, from the back side, you just run it through here like so. That holds that in place. Then you take your bolt, and it goes through that fitting, and then there's a lock nut right here, and that just goes on the back end. That's as simple as that. And the other side you just do in reverse. The difference is on the other side, you thread the bolt from the inside out. I don't know if you can see that way back there, but you're gonna thread the bolt from the inside to out because there's not enough room to thread it from the outside in because of the muffler extension. So from this side though, you go from out to in. We'll put our bolt on, I'll tighten that up, and then I'll show you what the other side looks like. Okay, so now we're on the right side of the bike, and I wanted to show you a couple things. I have a shorty exhaust on this bike. I took the factory off. And I think if you had the factory exhaust on, you're going to have a similar problem with reaching access to the mounting bolt. You can see it right in there. It's tucked away in there. So that's why you have to thread the bolt from the inside here to the outside and then put the nut on here. And then just take like a crescent wrench or a wrench and hold it there while you snug it in. It's pretty difficult to get in there, but if you had the right tool, you can get in. So also what I had to do is, when I did, I had to remove my exhaust for 2 reasons. So I pulled this off because that gave me a little bit more access to the bolt. You can see how little clearance there is between the nut here and the inside of the exhaust here. That's why you have to thread it from the inside. But then 2, you have to watch out for a couple things, regardless of what type of exhaust you have. Like when I put this back on, one thing I'm going to have to make sure is if I had it rotated like this, that bracket that's holding the exhaust, when the center stand comes up, it's going to hit that bracket. So what I'm going to do is when I reinstall it, when I tighten it, I'm just going to rotate the bracket. I'll keep the exhaust flush. So I'll rotate the bracket almost so it's like up and down, and that way you can see now that center stand is not going to hit the bracket. It'll clear it. On some other models of center stands, there's a piece that you have to actually grind off of here, but this one gives you plenty of clearance to work with. So that's why the right-hand side, you have to feed it the other way. All right, so I'm going to bolt this back on, and then we'll work on the spring. Okay, so as I predicted, the spring is the most difficult part. And so the trick is, it hooks on the bottom of the bracket, which is here, and then eventually it has to hook on to this. And so you can't obviously pull that by hand. In the video that T-Rex sends, it's got a guy with like a screwdriver and just does that, and it's like magically gets into place. So what I'm trying to do right now is I've rigged up basically a small piece of rope that is attached to a ratchet strap, which is attached to one of my shelves. And so I'm going to ratchet it open, meaning tight, to stretch the string to get to the point where I can get it around that that sort of knob right there where it goes. So wish me luck, and hopefully in about a minute or so you'll see the end result. All right, bye. All right, so we're back. That was interesting, but the ratchet idea worked. I put a string here, had it attached to a ratchet strap against something firm, and then just use the ratchet to extend it, and then I got it back far enough, and I just released the ratchet, and it fell right into place, and I was able to just yank the string from underneath there. So now you can see it's in there. The spring is working great. Plenty of recoil. It's seated up there correctly. It's seated on that pin correctly, and it fits in real nicely with the kickstand in place. So I'm going to put the plastic back on and do a quick demo for you, and then we'll be done with the center stand install. All right, so hey, we're done with the install. It was relatively short. Again, like I mentioned, the pain point was getting the spring on there. So now we're going to look down here towards the bottom of the bike, and you'll see the kickstand is here, is up. The kickstand is down. It's leaning now. And then right here, that's the center stand. You can see the spring is nice and tight, like so. And so now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the center stand. So I'm going to lift the bike up, just lean it straight up, put the kickstand up. Then you can see down here, I'm going to put the center stand down on the ground like so. This one I'm going to use my right hand or my right foot. And all I'm going to do is just lift up on the bike and then just sort of push down my foot at the same time. And it looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Like so. And now as you can see, the bike is on the center stand. If you back up a little bit from the machine, you'll be able to see the whole angle there. It's sitting nice and straight up, pretty even. And that's what the center stand does. It gives you the ability to have the bike stored sitting straight up. So if you want to do oil changes, if you want to do your chain maintenance, you can rotate the wheel pretty simply. So that's it. All right, guys. Thanks again. Again, this was from the garage of Notorious B.O.B. I want you to go out and ride, be safe, and have fun. We'll see you later.